Hi, my name is Sydney Newell, and I graduated from Indiana University with a degree in English education and an E&L license edition. My teaching philosophy is very student-centered. I believe that school should be about the students in it. For this reason, I encourage creativity and critical thinking in my classroom. One unique aspect of teaching is that I have the opportunity to help my students pursue their dreams. Technology is very important in the classroom because it enhances my lesson plans. I like to use technology not only to teach my students, but also to encourage their own creativity through their student projects and presentations. I'd like to take a minute and show you some of my favorite technology tools in the classroom. One of the first technology tools I used was a web quest, and web quests are so awesome. So for this one, I had the standard and my students were analyzing the meaning of life. It's really cool because you can add in videos, link to articles, and for instance, the videos I picked out were scenes from different movies. I tried to make sure that the movies were ones that were interesting to my students so they would be engaged in the web quest. This is a great way to switch up what you're doing in class, or you can assign it as homework, and you can create basically a web quest over anything you want, which is super awesome. The case analysis project is something I did my freshman year of college. I had a high school teacher give me a standard, and I found ways to integrate technology in the classroom based on that standard. His standard centered around vocabulary, and one really cool thing is I can use these tools that I found in my future classroom. I really like Quizlet and Haiku Deck. They were online flashcard sites. iMovie would be a great way to make sure my students understand what they're learning. Maybe I can assign them a final project using iMovie. I also really like the idea of having a Twitter teacher account so I could tweet out different vocabulary words or reminders or extra credit. I think that would be really effective as a teacher because I could reach my students easily. And as I mentioned before, I can use these ideas in my future classroom, and I can always research more, and I know how to go about doing that now. Glogster is a website. It's almost like creating an online poster. I created one over cyberbullying, and I love that you can incorporate videos because, especially on an issue such as cyberbullying, it's more helpful for students to see stories or see how it applies to them in the real world. And you can make photos bigger. So this would be a great site for me to use as a teacher if I want to put out an assignment or an informative announcement. And on the flip side, I could always ask them to create a Glogster for an assignment, perhaps to analyze a book or a character in a book. It's just very interactive. This is a digital story that I created about why I want to become a teacher, and I learned how to use iMovie through this. I would love to use this idea and assign it to my students as a project, perhaps to get to know them as a person, or what's their dream job. I think this would allow me to get to know my students on a more personal level and to connect and establish relationships with them, which is another one of my goals as a teacher. This is an ebook I made, and ebooks are really cool because they're not simply text. You can add videos or widgets. So for instance, this is a widget, and if you click on it, a checklist pops up. In this ebook, my students are analyzing dystopian society, and so I could incorporate short stories, movies. I try to pick movies that apply to them. Here they analyze the song Radioactive by Imagine Dragons. An ebook's just a really cool tool because it's more than simply reading a book. You can watch videos and incorporate different activities and mini quizzes to test their knowledge. These are just some of the ways I've learned to integrate technology in the classroom, and I look forward to learning new ways. My goal as a teacher is to make technology in the classroom effective, engaging, and enhancing. And I want my classroom to be fun, but also a place where my students can learn and explore and discover new things about themselves.